The small nickel might look useless, but don't ignore it too fast. Today on Change Your Life, we're exploring 3 Jefferson Nickels that collectors still keep an eye on. 2000 D Jefferson Nickel. 1996 D Jefferson Nickel. 1976 Jefferson Nickel, no mint mark. These coins are made from a copper-nickel alloy and feature the classic Monticello reverse design, honoring U.S. history. Most of them look worn, dirty, and heavily circulated, just everyday pocket change. But sometimes, even ordinary nickels can hide rare mint errors, unique varieties, and collectible conditions that make them more interesting to collectors. So before you spend your next nickel, take a second look, because small details can make a big difference. Let's begin with coin number 1. Most people think modern coins have no story. No history. No value beyond face price. Just 5 cents. Just a small nickel you spend without thinking twice. But the 2000 D Jefferson Nickel proves something very different. Because even modern coins are silently part of a massive system that never stops moving. Let's start from the beginning. The 2000 D Jefferson Nickel was minted in Denver, USA. At first glance, it looks completely ordinary. Same Thomas Jefferson portrait on the front. Same Monticello building on the back. Copper-nickel alloy composition. Simple design. Nothing flashy. Nothing that looks rare or special. But that is exactly why most people ignore it. Because the brain thinks, if it looks common, it must be worthless. But coins don't work like that. Now, when this coin was first minted in 2000, it was perfect. Fresh strike. Sharp details. Clean metallic surface. No scratches. No wear. No history yet. Just a newly created coin entering circulation across the United States economy. But here is where the real story begins. Because a coin's true life does not start at the mint. It starts when it enters circulation. The 2000 D nickel was released into millions of daily transactions. Bank rolls. Cash registers. Grocery stores. Gas stations. Vending machines. Parking meters. Everyday life. And from that moment, it started moving non-stop. From hand to hand. From city to city. From one moment to another. And nobody was tracking it. Nobody was recording it. Nobody even noticed it. But the coin was constantly traveling. Now let's slow down and understand something important. Coins don't just exist in circulation. They experience it. Every transaction leaves a small impact. Not visible instantly. But over time it builds up. The bright mint shine slowly starts fading. The surface becomes dull. Tiny scratches appear. Edges become softer. And the coin slowly transforms. From brand new currency to circulated witness of daily life. Now think about this carefully. A single 2000 D Jefferson Nickel might have passed through hundreds or even thousands of people. A cashier in a supermarket. A customer buying coffee. A vending machine transaction. A parking meter payment. Each moment small. But together they form a long journey. And the most interesting part is, no one remembers it. People forget coins instantly. But the coin continues its journey anyway. Now here is something most people misunderstand. The 2000 D nickel is not rare. It was produced in very large quantities. Millions of coins entered circulation that year. So in normal condition, it does not hold special market value. But that does not make it useless. Because value is not only about rarity. Value is also about understanding history in motion. This coin represents early modern U.S. currency circulation. Before digital payments completely took over everyday life. Back when physical coins still moved everywhere. That makes it a small but real snapshot of economic behavior in its time. Now imagine something. The same coin could still be in circulation today. sitting in someone's wallet, inside a coin jar, or passing through a cash transaction somewhere right now. Still moving after more than 2 decades. Still part of the system. Still changing hands silently. And that is the part people never think about. Coins are not static objects. They are moving objects. They carry time through physical wear. Every scratch is a trace of life. Every faded surface is a sign of movement. Every mark is a silent record of existence inside the economy. Now let's bring everything together. The 2000 Jefferson Nickel is not a rare treasure. But it is a real example of how modern money behaves. Fast. Constant. Invisible. Always circulating. And slowly aging while doing it. Most people will look at it and see only 5 cents. But if you look deeper, you see thousands of transactions. You see decades of movement. You see a coin that has quietly lived inside everyday life without anyone noticing. So next time you receive a nickel like this, don't ignore it instantly. Take a second look. Because even a modern 2000 Jefferson Nickel has already traveled a journey you never saw. Most people think coins are just money. Simple. Common. Something you spend and forget instantly. Especially modern coins like the 1996 Jefferson Nickel. Because in today's world, it looks completely normal. Nothing rare. Nothing special. Just 5 cents. But that is exactly where people make the biggest mistake. Because coins are not judged by how they look. They are judged by the journey they take. Let's start from the beginning. The 1996 Jefferson Nickel was minted in Denver, USA. At the time, the United States was already a modern cash economy. ATMs were common. Credit cards were growing. But physical coins were still everywhere in daily life. And this nickel entered that exact system. At first glance, it looks simple. Thomas Jefferson portrait on the front. Monticello building on the back. Copper-nickel alloy composition. Standard design. No special marks that instantly grab attention. But when it was first minted, it was perfect. Fresh surface. Sharp details. Bright metallic finish. No scratches. No wear. Just a brand new coin entering circulation. And that is where its real journey begins. Because coins are not made to stay in one place. They are designed to move. And the 1996 nickel moved a lot. From banks into cash registers. From stores into wallets. From wallets into pockets. And from pockets into thousands of small everyday transactions. Gas stations. Grocery stores. Fast food counters. Parking meters. Vending machines. Small daily exchanges that nobody remembers. And slowly, without anyone noticing, the coin started changing. Not in value instantly, but in appearance over time. The bright shine faded. The surface became dull. Tiny scratches started forming. Edges became slightly soft. And what was once a fresh mint coin became a circulated survivor of daily life. Now here is something important. The 1996 Jefferson Nickel is not rare. It was produced in massive quantities. Millions of coins entered circulation that year. So in normal condition, it is very common. You can still find it easily in change, jars, and old collections. But that does not make it meaningless. Because coins are not only about rarity. They are also about history in motion. Think about it carefully. This single coin could have been used in the late 90s for groceries. Early 2000s for vending machines. Or even stored in a household jar for decades before being seen again today. That is the hidden life of modern coins. They don't disappear. They just quietly move through time. And most people never notice it. They only see 5 cents. But in reality, it is a small object that has lived inside millions of real-world interactions. Now let's go deeper. The 1996 D nickel represents a transitional period in U.S. currency life. A time when cash was still dominant. But digital payments were slowly starting to grow. So coins like this were part of the last strong wave of everyday physical money circulation. And that makes it interesting from a historical perspective. Not because it is rare, but because it is part of a changing system. Now imagine something simple. A coin minted in 1996. Still existing today in pockets or coin jars. Still passing through hands. Still being used in transactions. Still quietly moving through the economy. That is more powerful than people realize. Because it shows continuity. It shows survival. It shows how even the smallest pieces of money can travel across decades without being noticed. And here is the final truth. The 1996 D Jefferson Nickel is not a $1 million coin. It will not change your life overnight. But it will change how you think about everyday money. Because once you understand its journey, you stop seeing coins as just coins. And you start seeing them as time capsules of daily human life. Now we reach the final coin in this series. The 1976 Jefferson Nickel. And this one is not just another old nickel. It represents a special moment in American history. A moment of celebration. A moment of identity. A moment when even currency became part of national pride. Let's go back for a second. 1976 was not an ordinary year in the United States. It was the bicentennial year. 200 years of independence. And the entire country was focused on remembering its history. Parades. Events. Commemorations. And even coins reflected that moment in time. Now at first glance, the 1976 Jefferson Nickel looks completely normal. Same Thomas Jefferson portrait on the front. Same Monticello building on the back. Copper-nickel alloy composition. Simple design. No flashy changes. No dramatic differences. Just a standard nickel. But that is exactly why most people underestimate it. Because they think normal look equals normal value. But in coins, time matters more than appearance. When the 1976 nickel was first minted, it was perfect. Fresh surface. Sharp details. Bright metallic shine. No scratches. No wear. Just a newly created coin entering circulation during a historic national year. And from that moment, its journey began. Because coins are not made to stay still. They are made to move. So this coin entered the massive U.S. cash economy. From banks. To stores. To cash registers. To wallets. And from wallets into everyday transactions. Gas stations. Groceries. Restaurants. Parking meters. Small daily exchanges that nobody remembers. And slowly, the coin started changing. Not in value instantly, but in physical condition over time. The shine faded. The surface became dull. Tiny marks began appearing. Edges softened slightly. And what was once a fresh mint coin turned into a circulated survivor of real-life economy. Now here is something important. The 1976 Jefferson Nickel is not extremely rare. It was produced in large quantities like other circulation coins. That means most of them were used heavily in everyday life. So if you find one today, it is usually common in worn condition. But that does not make it meaningless. Because its importance is not in rarity. It is in historical context. This coin belongs to a generation where physical cash was dominant. No mobile wallets. No digital payments everywhere. Coins were constantly moving. From person to person. From place to place. Without pause. And that makes the 1976 nickel a small but real piece of that era. Now think about this carefully. A coin minted in 1976 has already lived through nearly 50 years of circulation history. It has survived inflation changes, currency system upgrades, design transitions, and millions of daily transactions. Some of these coins were saved in collections. Some were forgotten in drawers. Some continued circulating for decades. And each one followed a different path. That is what makes coin collecting interesting. Not just rarity, but survival. Because most coins from that era are gone now. Worn out. Lost. Or melted down. But the ones still existing today carry silent history inside them. Every scratch is evidence of movement. Every faded surface shows decades of use. Every worn edge is proof of real-world circulation. And most people will never notice this. They will just see 5 cents. But collectors see something deeper. They see time. They see history. They see a coin that lived through a completely different era of money. So next time you come across a 1976 Jefferson nickel, don't ignore it instantly. Look a little closer. Because sometimes, even the most ordinary-looking coin is actually a quiet witness of history.